Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this executive briefing. Look, if you're a corporate leader trying to figure out how to actually integrate artificial intelligence into your organization, you are absolutely in the right place. I know a lot of you are sitting there with a very healthy, very justified dose of skepticism about the endless AI hype we're all drowning in right now. You're trying to figure out, what's real, what's just marketing noise, and how to actually drive value without exposing your company to some massive risks. So, let's get into it.
They lied to you about AI. Yeah, I know it's a massive hook, but it points directly to the absolute elephant in the boardroom right now. The marketplace has aggressively oversold AI capabilities. Driven by this wild frenzy from tech companies and media outlets hunting for clicks, you've basically been sold a vision of artificial intelligence that leans way more into science fiction than actual science. So today, in this explainer, we're going to strip away all that sci-fi magic, break down the actual mechanics of what these tools are doing, and map out how you can extract genuine, real-world utility from them. Here's our agenda for the briefing. We're keeping it highly structured. We'll hit 1. The big AI hype. 2. The illusion of intelligence. 3. Tools versus brains. 4. Real risks and disruption. And 5. The human oversight mandate.
All right, starting with Section 1, the big AI hype, and exactly why the narrative got out of control. Because frankly, before we can effectively leverage this tech, we have to understand where all this misinformation is actually coming from.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the hype was essentially engineered by 3 totally distinct forces. First, you've got tech companies actively overselling capabilities just to attract massive investment and dominate the market. Second, you have media exaggeration constantly pushing these fear-based AI will replace us narratives because, let's face it, panic drives engagement. And third, everyday users fundamentally misunderstanding intelligence, right? Projecting human emotion and intent onto cold algorithms. It's an endless feedback loop. Builders overpromise for funding, the media catastrophizes for clicks, and the end user anthropomorphizes the output. It's the perfect storm of confusion.
Moving right along to Section 2, the illusion of intelligence and what is actually happening under the hood.
Okay, here is where the paradigm totally shifts for enterprise integration. On the left, we have what executives and the public were told, that AI understands, that it thinks, reasons, and has intentions. It's often portrayed as, practically conscious. But now look at the right. What's actually happening? AI is a pattern prediction machine, period. It generates outputs based on probabilities, not comprehension. It doesn't actually think about your business problem. It just mathematically calculates the most likely string of words or pixels to follow your prompt.
Which brings us to this absolutely crucial point. AI doesn't know things. It predicts what sounds right. I really want you to internalize this for literally every AI initiative you fund. These systems are trained on massive data sets, billions of parameters of text, code, images, but they're doing all of that just to predict the next logical piece of data. There is absolutely no underlying knowing happening here. At its core, it is just statistical guessing at an incredibly high, sophisticated level.
And because of how it's trained, we run into this really stark reality. AI is optimized for fluency and plausibility. It sounds incredibly smart because it is literally programmed to sound convincing. But on the flip side, and this is huge, AI is not optimized for accuracy and truth. It has zero real-world awareness. It cannot inherently verify if that highly convincing, beautifully formatted quarterly report summary it just handed you is actually factually correct.
So what does this all mean? Well, it leads directly to what we call hallucinations. That's when an AI confidently gives completely wrong answers because it's optimized for plausibility over factual truth. In a business context, a hallucination isn't just a quirky tech glitch. Actually, scratch that. It's not a glitch at all. It's a core operational risk. It's the dangerous byproduct of a system prioritizing sounding good over being right. If your teams are deploying these models blindly, they are institutionalizing a margin of error that's masked by extreme confidence.
Okay, now I don't want you to walk away from this thinking the technology is useless. Far from it. Let's pivot from debunking to strategy with Section 3, Tools versus Brains.
And this brilliantly illustrates the mental shift you need to make. AI is a supercharged assistant, not a digital brain. Once you stop treating AI as this autonomous, infallible digital mind and start treating it as a highly capable, tireless, supercharged assistant, man, that is when its true value unlocks for your enterprise. It's the ultimate productivity lever, provided you are the one pulling it.
So where should you actually be directing your AI investments today? Well, first, automating repetitive thinking tasks. Second, summarizing large volumes of information. Think about taking a 100-page market research report and distilling the key points in literally seconds. Third, assisting human creativity, giving your writers, coders, and designers a rapid brainstorming partner. And finally, executing pattern recognition at a massive scale, finding anomalies in data that a human eye would completely miss. These are the real, highly profitable powers of AI that you should be integrating into your workflows right now.
But of course, integration requires threat assessment. So let's hit Section 4, Real Risks and Disruption. And seriously, forget the sci-fi movies for a minute.
Forget the killer robots taking over the grid. Those distractions blind us to the actual insidious corporate risks already inside your organization. We are looking at subtle job disruption, the automation of knowledge work that completely changes team dynamics. We're looking at the rapid generation of misinformation at scale, which can easily pollute your internal knowledge bases. There's the massive danger of corporate over-reliance on untested tools, where junior employees blindly trust the algorithm, and perhaps the most dangerous one of all, the degradation and loss of human critical thinking. I mean, what good is explosive productivity if it pollutes your databases with inaccuracies? These subtle risks are way more dangerous to your quarterly earnings than any Hollywood doomsday scenario.
AI won't destroy humanity, but it might make humans stop thinking. Let that one sink in for a second. If your workforce outsources their critical thinking to a pattern prediction machine, you lose your competitive edge. You lose the nuanced judgment, the strategic foresight, and the ethical guardrails that only a human mind can provide. The ultimate danger here is cognitive atrophy within your own organization.
Let's move to our final piece and see how this all builds together. Section 5, the Human Oversight Mandate.
The absolute core philosophy of your integration strategy must be this: AI doesn't replace intelligence, it amplifies it. Think about it. If you give AI to a highly skilled user, someone with deep domain expertise who knows how to spot a hallucination and guide the tool, they become exponentially more powerful. But if you give it to an unskilled user, they don't magically get smarter, they just become dangerously dependent. Baseline human skill and domain knowledge are honestly more critical now than they have ever been.
So let's clarify the competitive landscape once and for all. The false future the media loves to sell is humans versus AI. But the real future, the one you need to prepare your business for today, is humans with AI versus humans without AI. That is the bottom line. Integration is absolutely mandatory to stay competitive, but human beings remain the absolute core driver of your success. Your people are the steering wheel, AI is just the engine.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to wrap up this entire explainer. They didn't exactly lie to you about AI, but they sure didn't tell you the full truth either. AI isn't a mind, it's a mirror. It reflects the data we give it and the intelligence we bring to it. So as you lead your teams into this new era, ask yourself, what exactly are you reflecting into that mirror? Thank you so much for joining me for this briefing. Use these insights to cut through the noise, mitigate those risks, and harness the true utility of AI in your business. I'll see you in the next explainer.